Today we're talking about AWS and how to connect with an IPsec tunnel. So there are times by the way, I'm Tom with Tom's Tech Show. There are times when you need to connect to AWS from your on-premise. I did a video about how connecting and migrating to AWS and how to do different methods for doing that. And sometimes you need some of your resources in AWS to securely connect to local resources, or the other way around. So you want to be able to have an IPsec tunnel that's between the two. So there are a few different ways to do this. We're going to kind of go over a few here. The first, of course, is just using AWS's native way. You create a customer gateway, and then you use that to create a site-to-site VPN connection that connects your local router to the cloud, and then you can now have a connection to the cloud. The problem with this is, in order to get any troubleshooting or find out what's going on with it, you need to enable CloudTrail and dump logs and do different things like that. And it's you don't have as much control over the settings that you want. It's very limited. I mean, when you click create a VPN connection, all you get are these options, right? You get the name, you get the gateway that you're using, and that's it, and the IP addresses that you're going to use. So there's just not a lot of configuration that can be done. So a lot of people, a lot of companies, you can go and use something different, which is you have a Cisco router, so you can create a virtual Cisco router in the cloud and use that to connect to your premise, right? So here, I mean, the thing is, there's no GUI that you can use to set this up. So you basically have to be a CCNA, Cisco certified kind of engineer. And anytime you need to make a change or do something different, then you need to have them. I mean, if you're a big company, yeah, you'll have someone who's Cisco certified who can jump in and manage this and take care of this and connect this up. If you're a small company who's just beyond mom and pop shop, right? You're not going to have the resources, and you're not going to really want to pay for the resource to do this. We had an incident where we were trying to do something like this, and the engineer that we had said, we needed to deploy something, and the engineer that we had to help us said, no, I'm gone for the next month. And I'm like, okay, so we can't do that. So you kind of know those constraints, right? It's very command line, but if you're familiar with this, then it's just straight out, Cisco, right? How you would normally set up a Cisco router. And then you can take and connect these. So if you have different VPCs, different out on the internet, then you can connect those into and create like a transit gateway. So what that is you take all of your little VPCs that you have, like maybe different regions, and maybe you have more than one VPC in a region, and you can tie them all together. And through this transit VPC, that allows your corporate regular data center to connect and see all the different resources. So here there's a corporate data center, there's this transit VPC in the middle, and you have all the other VPCs out here that are able to connect. So this gets extremely complicated with how it works. And the other problem with it is these Cisco routers and licensing for these Cisco routers is very, very expensive. I think the one solution that we were looking at with multiple Cisco routers and doing a transit VPC for just a couple of connections, it ended up being like $1,400 or $1,500 a month. Which is a lot considering a normal IPsec tunnel from Amazon is $50 a month. So $1,550, right? Do we lose some logging and some configuration for, the inexpense, of just having the Amazon version of the IPsec? So it's kind of a toss up. But I was at an AWS conference and looking around, and I found still yet another way to do this, and that's by a company called Aviatrix, and I don't know if they pronounce it Aviatrix or Aviatrix. I don't. Anyway, so they have a system where it's all a web dashboard. So you just go in, log into your web dashboard, and you pick the VPC that you want. You tell it, I need a connecting point here, and it creates the connecting point. And then you just create your VPNs and your IPsec tunnels off of that. And it's very quick, very easy. It also does other things like it connects you to Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, AWS Gov Cloud, and there's one other one. Anyway, so it connects to multiple different clouds, and you can combine them all together into one network. So you could have a Google Cloud connecting to AWS, connecting to Azure, so that they can all, communicate. So then your platform becomes agnostic to whatever you're using. It makes it very nice. So it also allowed the VPCs that they use are pretty small. So the controller here is a T2 medium that runs everything and manages everything. So it's a medium, so it's not super expensive. All the endpoints where you connect your IPsec endpoints are T2 micros, so they're very small and don't cost you very much. Their system actually is made to connect multiple VPCs together and then connect that down to your typically single, corporate office, right? So it's one connection to the cloud and then connecting all the cloud pieces together. That one connection to the cloud, they charge, I think like 4 times what they charge for the other individual connections. Because that's going to be your more resilient connection. You want more data. All this stuff is going to go through there. So it makes sense to make that one be, the costly one. And you're typically only going to have one. So we explained our business model that I use at my company that I work for. Our business model is backwards of that. We don't connect any of our VPCs together. We only connect our customers to their own VPCs in the cloud in order to connect their resources to our software, things like that. So they went out of their way and they completely flipped their pricing model around and made it so that we could get their lower VPC to VPC price for connecting people to the cloud. And we're really, really great about getting, it all set up and everything else. I mean, this took me about 10 minutes to install in AWS. Took me another 4 to 5 minutes to connect the IPsec tunnel to our lab, and then it was done. I mean, it was that easy. It also it gives you this little dashboard that shows how all your connections are doing. So you have green lines, of course, where you have good tunnels, and red lines where you have bad tunnels. And so also has graphs of data so that you can see how your data is doing, whether you're hitting some peaks or something like that. You can tell whether your tunnels are up or down. And setting up a new tunnel is pretty easy. You just pick the endpoint name that you want to connect to and just fill in the information. You have many more options than just the regular AWS tunnel. SHA-1, SHA-256, all those different things that your Diffie-Hellman's 1.5, whatever, all the different ones that are all there. So if you're having trouble connecting, you can change those. Those are easily manageable. And then you can set your own pre-share key, which is nice. So that often you do that, some companies will have a set standard. Some will just be completely random. Some want it needs to be something that we can, easily transfer between, you and the other business, you and the other person. So all that is easily and quickly configurable. And then you can have logs. So you'll get all the logs for how it's connecting, what it's connecting, where it's dropping, where there's a problem. All that information is there and easily pulled out of this system. So you don't need to be Cisco certified. You don't need to be anything. You just have to have a basic understanding of IPsec and phase 1 and phase 2 and how to connect those. And you should be able to get one of these going within, a few minutes, right? I mean, this is how cloud computing should be, right? I mean, it should just be able to, boom, have this software service, and then be able to just connect things. So this is what the solution that we ended up with was using Aviatrix, and their support has been great. Everything about them has been just outstanding. So, and actually the time it took me to set up the demo and get the demo running was a few minutes. When we were first looking at them, it was, like I said, I don't think it was even 20-25 minutes that we had a tunnel running. We had everything going. It was really, really cool. So those are kind of some options that you have. There are other, if you have a different type of router, like you're using a Juniper router or something like that, and you're familiar with it, there are virtual Juniper routers, and there's many other virtual routers that you can put in place in AWS. A lot of companies have taken their OS of their router and dropped that into a EC2 instance or something like that allows you to connect to AWS. And if there's the one that you're familiar with, then you can, if you've have people who know your networks and know what routers you use, and there's a companion one in the cloud, it would make more super sense to just use that one. And then compatibility is better, so that you're using kind of the same software on each end, right? So, all right, so that's kind of how you connect and get everything going between your on-premise to the cloud. I mean, there's many different reasons that you want to secure connection, whether you're pushing software updates or something like that you don't want anybody to see. It helps to if you're pushing software out there, you don't want anybody to intercept that traffic or add viruses or malware to that traffic. If it's going over the tunnel, the chances of that are much, much less. Or you just need access to databases, or you want your users to access something. So then you need an IPsec, right? So, and these are a few ways to do that. All right. So, well, if you have any questions about any of these IPsec things, I know it gets a little crazy with some of the people being, Cisco, and they don't want to leave Cisco, and other people saying, no, I just need something that works, that's easy to set up, that's not in my way, that I don't need to go hire somebody. So it depends on where you are, right? Or if you have, I think Juniper, or there's a couple different other ones that are out there, that are available that you can use to connect, and you're familiar with that, then use those, right? All right, well, thanks for watching this video. I do videos like this a couple times a week, and I do videos about technology, about maybe photography, maybe what's on my mind, maybe movies and TV things that I like. I just got my Orville comic book, so I'm going to be doing something on the Orville next. So if you like the Orville, hang around for that, because there's one coming. All right. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff that you can do on YouTube, and take care.